Welcome back, friends. It's Anders. Today we are making 3 refreshing drinks that are all gin based. It is stupidly hot here in Chicago and I need a nice cold drink. And these 3 are 3 of my favorites. I'm gonna use a few different gins, but you don't have to. One of them's frozen, so that's fun. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button for more sips, tips, and recipes. And let's go have ourselves 3 refreshing gin cocktails. To the bar. Let's get this show on the road. First up, we have the Tom Collins. This is a classic. It dates back to the 1800s and has been a summer staple for a very, very long time. To make the Tom Collins, in a shaking tin, start with 2 ounces of gin. I'm using an Old Tom Gin because that's classically what's called for, but you can use a London Dry, that's fine too. To that, add 1 ounce of fresh lemon juice. Fresh is key here. 1/2 ounce of simple syrup. I'm using a semi-rich simple syrup, so it's 1.5 parts sugar to 1 part water. Give that a shake real quick, about 5 seconds or so, just to add a little air and incorporate everything. In a chilled Collins glass, add ice, pour in the cocktail with 2 to 3 ounces of soda water. For garnish, I like a lemon wheel and a cocktail cherry. Cheers. Light, bright, you get gin, lemon, and bubbles. Have a good gin, obviously, because you're gonna taste it. If you've never had a Tom Collins, now may be the opportune time. And if you haven't seen our video on it, go check that out. But for now, we are gonna move on to number 2, which is the Corpse Reviver number 2. This is another gin classic, and honestly, one of my all-time favorite cocktails. Not just gin cocktails, but cocktails in general. What I love about it is you have the flavors of gin and citrus that you have in the Tom Collins, but then there are added layers. So to make the Corpse Reviver number 2, in a shaking tin, we're gonna start with 3/4 of an ounce of gin. To that, add 3/4 of an ounce of Cocchi Americano, or you could use Lillet Blanc, 3/4 of an ounce of triple sec, and 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lemon juice. Shake that up about 15 seconds or so. We want this nice and cold. And then in a chilled cocktail glass, we want to coat the inside with absinthe. Now you could do this a couple of ways. One, you could pour a little bit of absinthe, swirl it around the glass and dump it out. I like to use a little spritzer bottle. Optional here, you can drop in a cocktail cherry. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Today I'm going to. Double strain the cocktail into the glass, and there is the Corpse Reviver number 2. Cheers. You get the gin and the lemon, but you get the absinthe, just a little bit of this licoricey flavor that goes really well with the lemon. It's very light. There's no syrups added, which is really nice. And it has a great name. Now, on to the 3rd and final of our list, the Saturn. This is the frozen one, the one we've all been waiting for. Now this one dates back to the 1960s. It's a gin-based tiki drink. In true tiki form, it calls for a few more ingredients than what we've been using here, but it is well worth it. I like to use an immersion blender for this one. To make it, in a shaking tin, start with 1.5 ounces of dry gin. To that, add 1/2 ounce of orgeat. I would recommend homemade. If you have a favorite store-bought brand, that's good too. To that, add 1/4 ounce of passion fruit syrup. Then we'll add 1/2 ounce of fresh lemon juice and 1/4 ounce of falernum. Add crushed ice. I eyeball this. If you want a really thick drink, add more. I add a couple scoops, and then I blend it up with an immersion blender. Once you get a nice consistency, you can pour that into a nice chilled glass. Garnish this however you want. I'm doing a little garnish I made that's supposed to look like Saturn. Drop in a straw, and there we have the Saturn. Cheers. Well, that's just fun. Bright, citrusy, almondy, very refreshing. You get a little bit of that passion fruit at the end. And then the falernum, that's just 1/4 ounce, but it does give it more of a tiki feel. It gives it some tiki spices. I'm not one to go out and drink frozen drinks all the time, but this is a good one. It is delicious. 3 refreshing gin drinks. I hope you give these a try. Let me know in the comments down below if you do. Don't forget your merch, sign up for the newsletter. I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. Cheers.